Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Wednesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We got a good show. We got JC the Corn Dog here in just a second. We're going to be joined by former Georgia Bulldog quarterback Buck Belue. He has his own show up in Atlanta called the Buck Belue Show. We'll talk a little bit about his thoughts on the Georgia Bulldogs and the SEC with the addition of Texas and Oklahoma. But let's go ahead and go to the Titan MR hotline, and we're joined by JC after he's had his pancake breakfast on his porch. Good morning, JC. How are you?
Well, if I were to have a pancake breakfast, somebody would have had to make them for me because I'm not going to make a mess in the kitchen. I got 2 hard-boiled eggs, grapefruit juice, and some yogurt. It's called Oikos, Oikos. It's what Dak Prescott eats. So obviously,
is that why you eat that?
That's right. Yes. I mean, it's working for him, isn't it? So that's breakfast. Yogurt, 2 hard-boiled eggs, and some grapefruit juice, and there's no mess in the kitchen. There you go.
Do you eat the yellow part of the hard-boiled eggs?
Eat it. I eat it all because
that's not good for you.
Our friend who is in charge of the egg world has said all of it's good for you, and he says don't listen to 9. He goes, JC, don't listen to 9. If 9 knew anything about eggs, 9 would sell eggs. So that's not the truth. So you don't know anything about eggs, apparently.
Apparently not. All right,
why is the yellow part of the egg not good for you?
I thought it was it's bad for your cholesterol. I don't really know, to be quiet.
Yeah,
I don't really eat eggs. I'm sure we got plenty of listeners here that are.
You are from Mississippi. You are from Mississippi and don't eat eggs?
No, I do if somebody prepares them for me, but I ain't gonna cook them.
Okay, all right, okay.
It's too much work.
That's right. Well, so are pancakes for this old boy right here.
There's no question about it. I could kill some pancakes right now, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
All right, JC, there ain't a whole lot going on in the sports world other than the Olympics.
I will tell you that LSU got a horrible break, as we know, and being literal, with Miles Brennan. And, this kid was pretty effective on the production side of things. He had, I think at 3 games, he had 11 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. So he was very efficient. He was productive. He was their starter. But for LSU, you can also take the side of the coin that says this could be a positive because now we have no quarterback duopoly here. It is now Max Johnson's job. He is the son of a quarterback, Brad Johnson, Super Bowl winner, Tampa Bay Bucks, Vikings, everyone else he played for. He knows how to play. I think he knows the position. Obviously, he was raised learning the position. And so Max Johnson is your guy now, and the whole locker room knows it. So maybe LSU can rally around Max Johnson, but you have to feel terrible for Miles Brennan. I mean, Max is going to get all the reps now, right? So there's no splitting of reps. It's going to be his team. So I think that'll help LSU because they're going to have to be ready to play. I think in week 2 of the season, it's either 1 or 2. I think it's week 2. They've got to travel out to LA and play Chip Kelly and the UCLA Bruins. And, Chip Kelly and the UCLA Bruins doesn't breed any fear into you, perhaps, but anything can happen in the second game of the season. And actually, I think it's their first game and UCLA's second game of the season. Yeah. So they'll already have a game under their belt. And just know that Chip Kelly has yet to win an out-of-conference game at UCLA. So he could be due to win one. Not that it matters, but LSU.
Okay, back to the Food Channel. We got several Facebook Lives right now. Daniel says all of the good stuff other than protein is in the yellow. But, yeah, the yellow is bad for cholesterol. I do 3 eggs, but only 1 yellow when I do eggs. Sandy says, Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. Little did you know you were going to tune in today to hear about eggs. The yellow part of an egg is full of cholesterol.
Yeah, but it's also got all the.
But what do I know? I've been in healthcare for 30 years. So anyway, there's your lesson on eggs today.
Oh, well, I'm still going to go with the guy that's made a fortune off them. So
Well, all right, back to LSU. I feel terrible for Miles Brennan because people forget last year
broke his arm.
Before Miles Brennan went down with an injury last year, he was shattering on record pace of what Joe Burrow did the previous year. The kid's from Mississippi. He can throw the heck out of the football. It's unfortunate. He was going to be their starter. So I think this definitely hurts. This definitely hurts LSU.
The only thing I can say, the only thing I can say is that Max Johnson is not a bad. We saw him down here last year. He's not a bad, I guess, second guy to go to. And again, he knows the position. They've got Joe Brady's recommendation calling the plays now from the Carolina Panthers for LSU on the offensive side of the ball. Bo Pelini is out of there. That means that they had to hire somebody else. Who did they hire? They got this guy Durante. Is it Smith? Somebody from the NFL to come in and take over the defense. LSU is going to be better, but it stings when you have a guy that efficient, at least on the production side. He's going to miss the season probably. So it's just a shame for that kid, but he'll be all right. I mean, he'll come back and play. It was his non-throwing arm, right? So he'll be back, but not next year.
I want to say it was he's been there forever. So I don't know if this was his senior year or not.
Well, they can certainly redshirt him, I guess. Maybe not. But medical redshirt, something will allow him to come back, I think, if that's in his plan, and I would guess it is. But LSU now knows who their guy is going to be. I guess Miles Brennan was their guy, but Max Johnson isn't the end of the world. I mean, it's bad, but it's not a killer. I mean, if Florida, let's say Emory went out, injured himself, where would you go right now? You'd have Anthony Richardson. And nobody's really sure about him yet.
Yeah, I mean they're the same guy. So all right, JC. So as we were talking, you've been watching some of the Olympics, I heard.
I saw. I think was just in a passing moment, Grant Holloway pull away from everybody in the hurdles, and he was on the far lane, and it had to be a qualifier. But that tells you my extent of Olympics watching. Let me say this: the Olympics, I don't know what the story is, but they're averaging 12 million a night. The last 6 Summer Olympic Games were well over 20 to 24 million in viewership. This is half. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just like the other rest of the country that's probably not watching much of it. I wish I did. I just don't even think about it, QB. It's terrible, isn't it? The other thing I do want to mention, though, is – all this talk about expansion, and we've talked about Notre Dame, ACC. What is the Big 12 going to do? There's been talks now that the Big 12 guy is reaching out to the Pac-12 guy. I still don't see what anybody left in the Big 12 brings value-wise to the Pac-12 outside of the central time zone for television, and that is it. And there's really only one school. There's one school that moves the needle that's left for anybody to go out and pluck in the pool of schools that is available to expand your conference. And this is for the Big Ten, the ACC, and that is Notre Dame. That's the only school left that moves the needle for your expansion plans. So what will the Big 12 do? I don't think the Pac-12 and Big 12 are going to get together. I think if anything happens on the expansion side for the Pac-12, it's going to involve the Big 12. They are part of something called the American Association of Universities. That matters for the Pac-12 folks because they do hold that association in high regard. There are only 2 schools in the Big 12 that are members of that club, so to speak, and that would be Kansas and Iowa State. Neither one of those schools, outside of maybe Kansas, slightly during basketball moves the needle. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe nothing will happen. I still don't understand why Notre Dame never joined the Big Ten. And that just doesn't make any sense to me either.
Let me ask you, you're talking about all the teams left in the Big 12. Nothing moves the needle for you.
8 left.
What moves the needle for you from the Pac-12 outside of USC, UCLA, and Oregon?
Well, right. And then there's Washington, maybe. That's it. You got the Bay Area. Cal and Stanford are the Bay Area. I'm just giving you markets, television markets.
But here's the thing. We've talked about this. Who cares about television markets? We can sit right here in Mississippi, Gainesville, Florida, wherever, and watch any game you want to play. You want to watch these days. I don't understand the whole market thing because back in those days when they used to talk about television market, that was before you had all these satellite TVs and stuff. We can watch TV.
Well,
we can watch a game anywhere they play, JC.
Markets matter for advertising, and advertising.
Okay, so you're trying to tell me
revenue.
I don't believe it one bit that the Missouri Tigers, us having the SEC having the St. Louis market, has really increased dollars.
Well, there's a reason why they went after Missouri. It has to be some reason. It wasn't because of the great football program they offer, even though they've been pretty competitive in the East. I will tell you that Notre Dame going to the ACC just is. I mean, that's the only option they would have because of the rights. The television rights that the ACC owns part of from that school. Notre Dame on the NBC contract QB made half of what Purdue and Indiana got out of the Big Ten TV deal. They got $15 million. Purdue and Indiana get $30 million. And yet, for some reason, Notre Dame never did want to or never has thought about joining the Big Ten. Big Ten's tried, never has happened. So are you telling me Notre Dame's going to subject their followers to Virginia, Wake Forest, NC State, and Duke rather than Michigan, Ohio State, Iowa, Penn State, Michigan State? It's just ridiculous. And I know Notre Dame plays Michigan State from time to time, but they need to play Purdue, Indiana, Illinois, all those schools that are within driving distance. And for some reason, Notre Dame never signed up for that. Instead, they rather go play at Florida State, at Duke, play Boston College, which they already do, but Pittsburgh, Syracuse, ACC schedule. And the problem is 2036. These schools signed their rights away until 2036 in the ACC. That was probably the smartest thing that we're never talking about that Swafford or whatever his name is in the ACC did for that conference to keep it intact because it will not break up. It cannot afford to. We are 15 years away from the end of that contract. Nobody can afford to break that contract.
Yeah, so we'll see what Notre Dame does.
That's why you're not going to see. That's why you're not going to see FSU or Clemson in the SEC. There's no chance of that in my mind. Now, if unless I'm missing something, they would owe so much money it would bankrupt their school. So I can't imagine that happening unless the ACC lets it happen. And I don't see that happening either. Clemson is not going to leave the ACC. Forget it.
Turn your car or truck into a rolling billboard for your business or brand with an eye-catching vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. This August, mention promo code Shane to receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. JC, you got that Corvette wrapped up yet?
It needs to be because it's filthy dirty with all this constant rain we have here in Rainsville. We'll get another inch and a half today. It's just that time of year, man. I just don't remember growing up here in the summer seeing rain as much as we see it today. I can recall raining for 15 minutes and then seeing steamy sun come out and steam coming off the streets. Now we just get puddles. I mean, they talk about the weather up north being so dismal. And then this is the Sunshine State. Okay. We got rain every day here in Rainsville. So I'm not all that thrilled about the what the cars look like. So maybe I should get a wrap because it is filthy.
All right. So are you excited?
And your white Tahoe is probably
it's terrible. I quit washing it. It's so old.
It's useless.
Hey, so JC, are you excited? I mean, one of your teams is playing preseason football tomorrow night.
No. I watch as much preseason football as you do, QB.
Yeah, well, I don't really watch any of it.
Yeah, exactly. Look,
go ahead.
Speaking
of preseason football, I had Ira Kaufman, who covers the Buccaneers down yesterday on my show.
Did he say
something? He said that they're basically. They got 22 starters back. They expect to win.
We know this,
but we talked about Kyle Trask. He pretty much said Kyle Trask will be the third quarterback all year long.
Yeah, good for Kyle. Fantastic. I mean, what a great deal for him. Now, he's the kind of guy who's always had to wait his turn, it seems like, since he left high school, or actually in high school, I think he had to as well. But it's always worked out for him. He's a smart kid. He's going to play at some point for Tampa Bay. It's just going to be a little while from now. But I think he's very fortunate to be in that system, learning from that coach, watching and learning from that quarterback. And I think it's all upside for Kyle Trask. What I'm concerned about is what is Hillsborough County going to allow fans into the stadium the way they have planned it. And I went to get my teeth cleaned yesterday, and the hygienist was concerned about what Florida's going to do, and that they're on edge over there because of the rising COVID numbers that we're seeing in the state of Florida. And if at least pop into your head temporarily? I think it should, because unless those numbers go down, we could have a problem here for that first game in Gainesville. And I'm not sounding the alarms, but I'm also saying don't let it just don't be so surprised if we hear some bad news. And I don't want to be the sender of bad news, but there's no question these COVID numbers are going up, and that's a concern for the people that are in charge of assembling big congregations and big crowds.
Let me ask you this. Do you think – see, I'm on the other side. I don't think they're going to do anything in this. But it doesn't matter what the SEC says, correct?
I just think it's up to the state and locals. I really do. I think they're in charge of their area.
If it's up to the state, we're going to have a packed stadium.
State and locals. Locals. Well, Broward County is different than Union County.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But I still don't think – I think we're going to see a packed stadium.
I really hope so, because the tickets have been sold, my man, and they must have crowds at the stadium this year. They can't afford what happened last year to repeat itself. Now, I don't think it will either. Could
you imagine if they shut the stadium down when Alabama rolled into town?
I mean, and there's a little time before September 18th, but we also have a game on September 4th. All right, that's the season opener. So look, dude, that's not far away, folks. This is inside of 30 days, or is it 30 days? What's today, QB? The 4th, 5th? So I mean, it's 5th. So it's inside of 30 freaking days, man. It's close. The tickets have been sold. People have made their plans and reservations. There's going to be a huge amount of folks up here in Gainesville for that game against FAU. It's the season opener. Everyone wants to see what Dan Mullen's got in store. What's Emory Jones going to be all about? What's the Florida offense going to be all about? Is anybody going to be able to tackle anyone? That's what we're waiting to see.
JC, just letting you know.
Isn't Willie Taggart the FAU coach too? Willie Taggart? Yeah, yes. So he's bringing his crew up here. They want to play.
Yeah, I think they will play.
Okay.
I know you were interested in this, but Team USA Baseball advances to the gold medal semifinals with a 3-win over the Dominican Republic. How about that?
That's great. Go USA.
Yeah, the Gators have one player who really didn't play hardly at all here, is the catcher on that team. It's quite interesting.
Florida's been well represented by the swimmer, right? Okay, what's Dressel? Isn't that who won all the medals?
Yes.
So good for him. How did the opening night go it's not opening night yet for Spurrier. That's another thing I worry about. That Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. They want to have a packed house in there too. They don't want any mandates. So I don't know, man.
You have to call like weeks in advance to even get a damn reservation there.
Is that right? So wow, good for them. That's exciting. That's exciting. Yeah. This is a time of year, baby.
Let me just tell you this. Even people who are trying to make reservations for the Alabama game ain't got a chance.
Well, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. The whole world is planning to convene on September 18th, right here. And a 3:30 game. It could be a little steamy, but nobody cares. It's going to be an event. This is the first time that school has been here since 2011, and the talk is, and that brings me to a 9-game SEC schedule, which I have been praying for, and it's finally going to happen, because there's just no way you can have 16 teams and not have at least 9 games. So they're going to have 9 games. That means that you're going to see a crossover school once every 3 years instead of twice every 10 years. And twice every 10 years just wasn't enough. I never understood. Well, I understood it, but I never liked the 8-game SEC schedule. It worked well for the conference, but it didn't work well for the fans or some of the players. Some guys didn't even get to travel to certain places in the conference. So I don't know. I think 9 games is a good thing. I think it'll happen, obviously. I really hope they figure out a way to get Texas and Oklahoma over here before 2025.
Well, when they realign, there aren't going to be sides. I think you're going to see teams playing each other. I don't even know if they're going to do the pods, quite honestly.
Well, it'll be like the NFL does, I think. You'll have 14 pods. No?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I think they're going to try to do everything they can for more teams to visit different stadiums. And if you have those set 3, like I think it was Florida, Georgia. I can't even remember who they were talking about.
Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, and South Carolina, maybe something like that.
Yeah, so we'll see. If you've got joint pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back that won't go away, you need to check out QC Kinetics for long-lasting relief. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. Schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. Call them today. That's QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. A few more minutes here with JC on the Titan More Highline. We'll be joined by former Georgia quarterback Buck Belue, talking a little bit about the Dogs. JC, right now, if you had to pick who's going to be in Atlanta, you can change your mind before the season kicks off, but right now, who has JC got in Atlanta?
I got Georgia and Alabama, but I would not be surprised to see Texas A&M upset Alabama in the West.
I think this is A&M's year. I really do.
Well, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. Remember now that Texas A&M, like Alabama's got a new quarterback coming in, but
which could be a good thing. Because I didn't think the other one was very good.
It could absolutely be a good thing, but that's going to be a tough game for Alabama October 9th. So that's the popular pick is Alabama, Georgia. I don't think Georgia. If Daniel stays healthy, I got to say they're the favorite for sure. I hear this, how good Kentucky's going to be and so forth. I got to see it to believe it. And Florida's just a question mark for me, defensively especially. On the West side, though, A&M is absolutely going to have the horses to stay with them, even though they haven't in the last 5 to 10 years. This year, they get them in College Station. And Alabama will be coming off a tough game against Ole Miss. And believe me, Ole Miss is not going to be a slouch. Mississippi's got Matt Corral and Lane Kiffin, and they will score on everybody they play. It won't matter who they play, but their problem will be just like many others, and that is how are they going to stop people? And maybe they've gotten better on that side of the ball. We're going to find out. It's all exciting to me. The SEC is really going to be quite a race this year, I think, especially on the West side. LSU, I'm not quite ready to buy them yet for the division because Max Johnson, I'm not sure if he can hold up the whole season, but maybe he can't. And I don't know about Arkansas, Mississippi State on that side either. I'm not so sure how good they're going to be.
Rick says on Facebook Live, the Carolina Panthers wide receiver Keith Kirkwood was hit in the neck area during practice Tuesday, carted off the field, and taken away by ambulance. The player who struck him was kicked out of practice and waived. Must have been a cheap shot.
Yeah, and that's too bad. That kid, you get carted off on a stretcher. Oh, that's awful. It had to be a cheap shot, I would think. Yeah, if he's going to get waived, somebody got upset. So, it's unfortunate, very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it. Like I said, this is the time. This is really a time of the year. I mean, usually in the summer, there's not a whole lot going on, and we've had the SEC expansion, all that. There's really nothing going on right now. Now, Gators crank up practice on Friday. When do y'all start practice, JC? I know you know. Come on.
Y'all start? I gotta check my board up there and see when I got to report and bring my gear. Listen, I think it's any day or today or tomorrow, whatever it is. They all start and kick off on the same day, bro. Miami and Alabama in Atlanta. Well, and Miami and Alabama are going to play on the Labor Day weekend, and most everyone else is playing on Labor Day weekend.
All right. Well, I'm anxious to see about Bryce Young, and we brought this up yesterday, JC, and maybe we spoke about it. I think I mentioned to you about that kid from Texas, the #1 quarterback. Did I mention that to you Monday?
Yes, about him going to Ohio State.
He has foregone his senior year.
Yeah,
because of the NIL.
Well, and
it's the dumbest damn thing I ever heard.
Well, and how about the okay, so we're thinking about what he's thinking about. He's thinking about money. That's what he's thinking about. Yeah. How about his teammates? They were thinking about winning a possible state championship in the state of Texas. Now their team is going to be completely different because their quarterback's leaving. How about his teammates? His teammates are sitting there thinking, man, we're about to compete here in the state of Texas for a championship, and now we're not so sure we're going to even make the playoffs and all that.
Well, having said that, that is true, but we don't even know if his team's worth a damn. Okay, that's fair, but I mean, what is it? South Carroll Lake. Very good. I'm sure they're pretty good, but what I'm saying is just because he's the #1 quarterback in America doesn't mean his high school team's very good.
I know, but it gives them.
We have local teams that have had premier players where their teams ain't very good.
No, it's true. I mean, but I would guess if I had to bet, they would have been a competitor in the state of Texas for something big. And now those teammates don't have that chance to play with a quarterback who was going to help them win. So, tough luck for them, I guess. But this is the world we now live in. He's going to get paid.
However, if they have a pretty good team, who knows? The other guy may be more of a team player and they still could compete. So I just think it is totally ridiculous that this kid is going to enroll early, skip his senior year because of NIL. If anybody's paying this dude money, they're morons.
Well, and that's the whole thing, isn't it? It just comes down to who's willing to do that. I mean, this is a guy that's going to probably get some reps. He's probably even possibly going to redshirt. He's not going to start for Ohio State. He's not going to be known as somebody that's going to move the needle for the Buckeyes this season. Why are you spending money on something like that? Why would you spend money on something like that? And it all goes down to who you know, who wants to help you get somewhere, and how can you help them? And, eventually I think we're going to start seeing some of this level off a little bit because it's a little bit out of control with what some of these kids are getting. But you say
it's out of control, but it's not, because nobody's making a lot of money. That's my point to this.
I don't know. Bryce Young seems like he's about to.
Okay, that's what they say. And I know Nick said it. But has anybody come out and said Company X is paying him?
Well, no, I just
$300,000.
Well, maybe then Nick Saban is just saying that for recruits in the future. Who knows what he
could be. We don't know, because I just know for a fact that kids are not getting what they thought they were going to get.
Well, Ohio State is allowing now players to use the school's trademarks. Any way they want to try to sell. Maybe that's a trend that's going to happen that might allow more folks to participate as well. Nothing's off limit now for Ohio State University. You want to wear their big O and go out and sell that with your name and design and do whatever you want to with that big O, or Brutus running, like this. Doesn't he run like this or like this? And that's now for sale, man. I mean, you do it.
You think that's going to sell? So you're trying to tell me,
it might.
JC, you're a premier athlete. Let's just use a player at Florida. They're not allowed to use the trademark or whatever they call it.
Not yet.
Okay, but still, what is the difference? Let's go back. What is the difference from player X that plays at Florida, going and signing autographs in a T-shirt like you're wearing or I'm wearing, and then a T-shirt that has a Gator logo on it? There's no difference. It's the human being. I mean, I don't understand it at all, because my point is Bryce Young, whatever he's made, there is a possibility that Bryce Young could be sitting on the bench at halftime.
You don't know. I mean, look, it's all guessing game right now. Nothing's happened. We're in August, but some folks like to be first to the market. And regardless of what it is, I don't think anything's set in stone. It's not like Bryce Young, who could be sitting on the bench in the second game of the season, has 3 months guaranteed money coming from Company Y. It could be all contingent on things. We don't know, but the idea
and we don't know what's real. That's my point.
So why are we even talking about it? Who cares?
Because you said it was out of control, and I'm trying to tell you it's not out of control, because
it's out of control when you tell a junior in high school that he's about to get paid and can skip his senior year.
Well,
to me, that is out of control.
That is just stupid, because
okay, you call it stupid, I call it out of control. What is the difference? It doesn't matter.
It's the same. I thought you were talking about within the college ranks right now, because it's not.
No, I know. Look, we're going to play games. People are going to show up. They're going to tailgate. They're going to get upset on the Monday morning, or they're going to get thrilled on Monday morning. Talk shows are going to fire up, and we're going to see football. That's what I'm excited about, and that's really I don't care who's getting $25 after the game or 125. I don't care about any of this stuff. I'm more interested in the 12-team playoff, the expansion plans, and when the hell is Oklahoma, Texas going to get here, and how they're going to get here. Well, that's what you say, but they say it's 2025. So I want to know.
Say publicly.
I want to know those things. Those are the things that interest me. What some guy gets on the side is not a big deal to me. I don't care. Unless he wants to bring his $1 million over to Cornerstone Financial Group and call John Cornell, then I'm ready to talk.
And he may show up and he may not have that $1 million because it's all just hearsay.
Well, if he's got a check, then scratch it and let's open an account.
Yeah. Let's get to This Day in Sports, brought to you by Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Comfort Temp is now hiring team members with all levels of experience, great culture and benefits, and you get a $1,000 signing bonus for qualified positions. Give Comfort Temp a call, 352-376-2366. In 1984, Carl Lewis wins the 100 meters in 9.9 seconds in L.A., first of his 9 Olympic gold medals over 3 games. What is the world record right now? Usain Bolt still have it?
I got to believe that, yeah. I mean, he's the greatest sprinter I've ever seen, so I would say he is. He's probably the greatest that's ever done it. So certainly I would say he's got to be the record holder. Nobody was faster than him. So, I mean, he would look back at people when he finished. He was great, and I loved watching him run. We don't have anybody like that yet, but somebody else will appear. QB, I got to spend a whole week in Pittsburgh next week. You got any ideas of what? I mean, you've been to Pittsburgh. What do you got? What's there to do in Pittsburgh?
I've been to Pittsburgh to play football games, and I've been there once to play in Merrill Hodges golf tournament. So my length of stays in Pittsburgh were just fly in, play golf, play football, and fly out.
It was Heinz Field, right? They had built Heinz Field the time you went, right?
Yeah, I played in both Three Rivers and Heinz Field.
You did play in Three Rivers. Wow, you are old.
You're damn right I'm old. Yep.
Well, good
Three
for
Rivers
you.
and Heinz.
Heinz Field was better, though. Grass field. Nice
Three Rivers was a dump.
That's where the Steelers played, too. It's hard to believe. But,
it was a dump.
There you go. Okay, Heinz Field, and then I got PNC Park, home of the 20-game below 500 Pittsburgh Pirates. That's exciting. I bet you tickets won't be hard to get for that.
Are you going to a game?
I'm going to go next Friday night to see them play the Milwaukee Brewers. Absolutely am.
Oh boy!
I can walk right up. I can walk right up and get a ticket, QB. I don't think it will be any problem. I'm going to be in there wearing my Pittsburgh Pirates hat.
Rick says you can swim in Three Rivers and never leave town.
Yeah. So name the Three Rivers, QB, real quick. Go ahead.
Allegheny.
Yep.
That's about all far as I can go.
There's 2 more. Go
Ohio.
ahead. Yes, and.
Don't know the third one.
Monongahela.
That's it. Yeah.
The Monongahela. I
was 2 for 3.
Pretty good.
I'd make a lot of money going 2 for 3.
You were about to give up after 1, though. I mean, you didn't even want to talk about the Ohio.
All right, JC. Well, we're gonna let you go. Swim through the Three Rivers. We're gonna go talk to Buck Belue.
One play. What does Buck Belue do without that one play? Who is he?
He has his own radio show in Atlanta.
I know, but what did he do other than that one play in his career at Georgia?
Well, he did a great job handing that joker off to Herschel.
That's right. Oh,
they threw it a little bit. They didn't. They didn't throw it a whole lot back in those days.
I watched that game. Just real quick before I leave, I got to tell you, the offensive scheming of that era was about as imaginative and enjoyable and exciting as watching this guy mow this grass over here.
Yeah.
But it was just amazing to me. 2nd and 6, and they hand it off. It's now 3rd and 4. Throw it! They never threw it. Vince Dooley would not throw the ball, and it was crazy. But that was what we got to watch in the early '80s. So.
All right, JC.
Go Dogs.
Talk to you later. We're going to take our first time out of the program. Come back. We'll be joined by Buck Belue. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, non-surgical regeneration, live pain-free. South State Bank, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Chomp Carter Apparel, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, Celebration Points, where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Regal Cinemas, Bass Pro Shops, Nike, Le Macaron French Pastries, Palmetto Moon, and opening up August the 11th, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Visors Tailgate and Rooftop Bar. We'll see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. We're now going to go to the Titan Tomorrow Hotliner. We're going to be joined by former Georgia quarterback Buck Belue, who now has his own show up in the Atlanta area called the Buck Belue Show. Good morning, Buck. How are you, my man?
Shane, doing pretty well, buddy. Battling this Atlanta traffic today. You guys are living the good life down there.
Well, there's no question. Gainesville's traffic can get bad, but I'll be damned, that Atlanta traffic is just total misery. So, Buck, let's talk a little bit about the Georgia Bulldogs this year. I mean, everybody knows about your career. Actually, the previous guy, we were joking about how it was y'all hardly threw the ball back in the days when Vince Dooley was there. College football's changed now where the quarterbacks are slinging it all over the ballpark. Is that what you expect to see out of JT Daniels this year?
Well, I plan on talking about this on the show this morning here in Atlanta, is that JT over at SEC Media Days was asked what he thought the strength of this Georgia offense was, and he brought up the term versatility. I think we called it balance back in the day, where I believe, if you're going to win something big, I believe you've got to have a little balance. I had Coach Spurrier on recently, and when I asked him about the fun and gun offense, he brought up the fact that they ran the ball more than people give them credit for. Mm-hmm. So, I'm a believer in balance. I think it helps when you face a really good top defense. You've got to be able to do both to score points and be effective. And then it allows you to game plan from week to week as you specifically look at a particular defense you're going to face on Saturday. They might be weak against the run. Well, you're going to run the ball a little bit more that weekend. Next week, you might face a team that has a poor pass rush and can't cover. Well, you want to throw the ball against those guys. So I'm a believer in the versatility and the balance, and I think you'll see that this year out of the Bulldogs offensively.
Yeah, and you look at their offense, a lot of people think Georgia has a very good chance to get in the 14 playoff with the play of JT Daniels. But then you have some of the so-called experts say, JT didn't play against some of the top-notch SEC teams last year in the few games he played. When you look at him as a former quarterback, what do you like from JT Daniels?
Well, I think he can make all the throws, Shane. He can make all the throws. He's an accurate passer. He manipulates the pocket really well. He's fearless. He'll stand in there and deliver the ball and take the shot. I believe he's an excellent leader with the other guys. They really respect him and admire him because he puts the team first. He doesn't want to talk about himself. He wants to talk about the other guys. And he's fixated on winning, which can win the other team over, as you well know.
As you know, Georgia's done a tremendous job recruiting. On the offensive side of the ball, is there one player that, whether the Gator Nation that's listening needs to look out for? Is there one guy that could surprise some people on offense for Georgia this year?
Well, I believe the breakout player on offense would be the tight end, Darnell Washington, who, Shane, is just a beast of a talent. This guy's, he's 6'7", 6'8", 260 pounds, running a 4.6. He flashed a little bit a year ago, and now he's fully comfortable in the offense. I expect them to target him a lot this season. throwing the football around. So keep an eye on that big 0. He wears number 0. Big Washington looks like a breakout guy to me.
When you look at the defensive side, I think pretty much they've been really good on defense under Kirby Smart. Do you expect them to continue to excel on that side of the ball this year?
Well, I do. I think the front seven's really strong. It'll be one of the better front sevens you see. They had to hit the free agency, as we're calling it, to shore up the secondary, bringing in a nickel corner, Tyke Smith from West Virginia, who's highly thought of. I see him in some of these preseason magazines as being an All-American type player. And then Darion Kendrick from Clemson got in a little hot water with Dabo, and now he's transferred in to play one of the boundary cornerback spots. So the secondary looks a lot better than it did back in the spring. So, yeah, Kirby, they're bound and determined they're going to play good defense, and I would expect them to be one of the better defenses you see out there.
When you look at Georgia's had a lot of success since Kirby's taken over, Buck, is there a lot of pressure from the Georgia faithful that, he's got to eventually win a national title? I mean, everybody thinks they're going into the season. They got a chance to do it. But is there any pressure mounting there among the fans?
Well, I believe the Bulldog Nation is thrilled. They've been knocking on the door and saying they should have already won the national title. Overtime lost to Alabama 2-3 years ago. So, that one got away. They've been knocking on the door. So the Bulldog fans are really excited about what this year might bring. I think the negativity is outside the program, really, where you get people talk, well, they've only made the playoffs one time, as if it's easy beating Alabama and getting an invitation coming out of the SEC. You look at, the Washington Huskies and Michigan State and some of the Oregon teams that have been in the playoffs. They wouldn't be in the playoffs playing in the SEC, trying to beat Florida and Alabama and, are there these other strong teams? So I think the negativity is really outside the program. Bulldog Nation's pretty excited about what might happen this year.
At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. Speaking with former Georgia quarterback Buck Belue here on the Titan Tomorrow hotline. A few more minutes with him. We got a couple of texts for you, Buck, on the Titan Tomorrow text line. John says, Buck, do you think the Florida-Georgia game should always be in Jax, or do you guys want to play it in Atlanta and rotate it?
Well, I've changed my stance on this one. I, previously believed the game really should be in Jacksonville. But look, to win big, to beat Alabama, to take down the Gators, Georgia's given up a home game as far as recruiting goes. And again, you're going up against Clemson, Alabama, Florida, a lot of these teams on the recruiting trail. So you're giving up a big Saturday. I mean, imagine how big that recruiting weekend would be if the Gators were coming to Athens. Mm-hmm. So I think this, you got to go all in to win big in the SEC. So I've changed my stance on this one. I'd like to see it go back to Gainesville and Athens.
Interesting. We got another text here on the Titan Tomorrow text line from Bobby. He wants to know, Buck, do you think your touchdown pass to Lindsey Scott against the Gators is the greatest football play in Georgia football history?
Well, it's not up to me to make that determination. I think it's the best play I've ever been involved in. And, it's just an honor, to be remembered in a positive way. And that certainly applies here. The Bulldog people have been wonderful to me through the years. And it seems like they all have a little bit of a story they want to tell when it comes to that. So, it's not up to me to determine what the great plays are. It was just an honor to be a part of that. And I tell you what, I've spoken with Wayne Peace many times since then and really respect. One of my regrets is I didn't get to him after the game. I was too busy celebrating. By that time, Peace had already headed back to the locker room. But I just wanted to tell him how impressed I was with his performance that day, throwing the ball around. I was able to do that later, but it was just an awesome game and just fun to be a part of.
Buck, I wanted to ask you this. The times are changing. The number one quarterback in America is leaving, foregoing his senior year, going to Ohio State. I think it's ridiculous. But, many people say that Herschel Walker may be the only player that could have skipped like a year in high school or maybe skipped college and went and played straight to the NFL. What are your thoughts? Could Herschel have done that?
Yeah, I think the thing that goes unnoticed is, Herschel was a really good receiver. So, he didn't really get to show off that skill set in college at Georgia. We were running him too much. But because of his versatility, and it was just really mature, physically and emotionally, I think he could have pulled that off, no doubt about it. And so could Bo Jackson and Emmitt Smith. Those guys could have done it too.
Tommy asked here on the Titan MR text line, hey, Buck, what do you think about OU and Texas coming to the conference?
These times are changing, and bring them on. Be careful what you hope for. I love what Coach Spurrier was saying about this. We can always count on the head ball coach to make us laugh, and I certainly enjoy those comments. Be careful what you're hoping for. Look, Texas couldn't win the Big 12 anymore, so I don't know how they're expecting to come into the SEC and win that. But look, it's all about the money. Follow the money trail. They can make more money in the SEC, and the exposure's big. The SEC wants to have them because of that. The money trail, man, follow that. But be careful what you're hoping for. It's going to get tougher. And Oklahoma's winning the Big 12 every year. That certainly won't happen in the SEC.
No. Last thing for you, the 12-team playoffs. You for the 12-team playoff?
Yeah, I am. The more the merrier. The more playoff games we get, the better off I'm going to be. I get to see more of these big-time games. So, I love that idea. And I just, watching it a year ago, my wife says, we got the same teams playing in the playoffs every year. This is boring. So I think that does factor in, too. Open it up a little bit more. We get to see some of these other teams around the country instead of Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, those teams every single year. So, yeah, I'm excited to see a 12-team playoff.
Speaking of Clemson, the Dogs open up with Clemson this year, I think, in Charlotte. I think it's a must-win game for Clemson because their schedule after this game. Do you think this is a game that if Georgia were to lose it, they still have an opportunity to get into the postseason?
Well, if they ran the table, and that'd mean, beating Florida and Jacksonville and taking down Alabama in the SEC title game. But look, the national narrative, Shane, will just extenuate what you already hear now about Georgia's. There's all this talk every year about the Bulldogs doing something special, but they hadn't won the title in 41 years since that Belue guy was on campus with Herschel. You'll hear more and more of that with the national narrative if they can't take down Clemson in the season opening game. So I think it is a big game for Georgia, if for nothing else, to prove to the rest of the country that they're legitimate this season.
All right, so one more question for you. I think Georgia fans were very upset at the way Florida kind of manhandled them last year in Jacksonville. I thought Dan Mullen had a tremendous plan against Georgia. Is that one of those kind of games that in the offseason, Kirby and the strength staff and everybody's kind of said, hey, we're gonna run a little extra at 5 a.m. because of the way we performed against the Gators?
Yeah, it's sort of like Mullen running those Gators for losing a home game, or running those stadium steps. I look back at the game, and I've seen it a few times. It really exposed Georgia at the quarterback position. So maybe it could have been different with JT Daniels in there. And then the other thing is, is Dan Mullen, Kyle Trask did a great job of getting that ball to Kyle Pitts. I thought he was a difference maker. Georgia many times had tight coverage on Pitts, and he still was able to come down with those 50-50 balls. And let me just say, too, that I'm totally excited about Kyle Pitts wearing that Atlanta Falcons uniform and can't wait to see him play this season.
Yeah, he's a special talent, no question about it. Well, Buck, we appreciate you taking the time to join our program. Let everybody know how they can listen to the Buck Belue Show.
Well, they need to get the 680 The Fan app where they can listen. I'm on 10 to 11 Monday through Friday, the Buck Belue Show. They can listen on the app or online. We're streaming at 680thefan.com.
Good stuff as always, buddy. Be safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Shane. Good to be with you, buddy.
Yes, sir. That's Buck Belue. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. Going to take our final time out of the program, come back, wrap up this Wednesday edition. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, non-surgical regeneration, live pain-free. South State Bank, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Wrap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Silverback Concrete Company. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Center State Bank is now South State Bank, but they still put business first. We understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. South State still has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward, member FDIC. We want to thank JC and former Georgia quarterback Buck Belue for joining us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. Buck does a tremendous job up in the Atlanta area, so if you ever want to listen to his show, I think it's on 680 The Fan. Don't forget the Gators crank up practice on Friday. You got the NFL Hall of Fame game tomorrow, Steelers and Cowboys. If you're looking for some pro football, I'll probably watch a quarter or so, but doesn't mean a whole lot. I'm going to try to have somebody on from Jacksonville that covers the Jaguars in the next couple of days or first of next week. Let us know what's going on with the Jags. Get us a Tebow update. See if they think he's still got a chance to make the roster, even though they haven't put the pads on. I think that's when it's going to determine a lot. Make sure you follow us and like us on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any of those different digital platforms. Make sure you tell all your friends and family to follow our program. We're getting close to kickoff time, folks. Hopefully we can get this Delta strain under control. So as JC mentioned, we can still have packed stadiums this fall because the universities need it, the fans need it, the players need it. We just need to get back to some normalcy. I still think it's going to be okay. I still think they're going to have full capacity, but I could be 100% wrong. So we shall see. But today's show's a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. Be safe out there, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.
1st and 10. Matthews, near side, wide open, Alonzo Sullivan. He may go. Touchdown, Gators.